What is up, Internet? How is everyone doing? It is Thursday, hybrid kickboxing time. Hopefully everyone's ready to learn some ninja stuff. I'm going to wait a few minutes for everyone to come in.
I am.
I would say it's Thursday, it's the end of the week, tomorrow's Friday, awesome, but who cares? There's nothing happening, so.
Sorry.
What is up? Robert St. John, how you doing, my friend? You ready for some ninja stuff today? That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Wait a few more seconds for some more people to get in. And once again, all of our videos are available on the Combat Performance page. So if you want to go back and watch one of our old ones, maybe it's a Saturday. You want to work on a Saturday. You can rewatch a video. What's up, Dad? It's actually showing him as Al Martino today as opposed to Combat Performance.
Hey, yeah.
Oh, that just got weird. All right, if you want to get the music going.
I always be talking about my head. About how it's egg-shaped.
Love it. All right, everyone. It is, we'll give it another minute. Once that clock, what's up, Ree? Once that clock goes to 6:35, which could be any second now, we're going to go ahead and get started. My dad says, I just watched Sasquatch walk behind you. Sasquatch with an egg-shaped head. All right, it is time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure some more will trickle in as we go, but it is time for some hybrid kickboxing. Let's go ahead and get warmed up. Got to loosen up that body before we start working in all of our kicks and punches and that fancy ninja stuff. Even ninjas need to stretch. We're going to start off with some neck rotations. Loosen up that neck, big slow circles. Drop that head down and around. Try not to reach too far back. Strains the back of the neck. Just up and over. Around and over. What's up, Seth? Haven't seen you in quite a while. Jesse, what's up? Neck rotations, guys. Big circles. Opposite direction. Let's roll that head around the opposite way. Loosen everything up. Awesome. All right, now we're going to loosen up those shoulders. We're going to start putting one hand up in the air. My elbow is pointed directly to the side. Opposite elbow pointed to the side, but the hand is facing down. We're just going to switch. Boom. Press those hands back like you're pressing them up against the wall. Back and forth. You can do it to the rhythm of the music if you want. Good. Arm rotations. Roll those arms in big circles for me. Loosen those shoulders up. Almost sounded like Bruce Buffer. It's time! Opposite direction. Roll those arms backwards for me. Big circles. Loosen up those shoulders. Throwing a lot of punches today. You don't want tight shoulders. Fantastic. All right. We're going to warm up that back now. We're going to get some full body rotations. We're going to start reaching down to the front. We're going to hit our hamstrings at the same time. Keep those legs nice and straight. Get a nice stretch to the front. Don't push it. Just let your body hang. This is the warm-up, guys. Don't kill yourselves. Just a nice, easy stretch to the front. Definitely feel this in my hamstrings. Awesome. Now we're going to go to one side. I like to take one hand, just kind of slide it down my leg. The other hand's going to reach over my head. You should feel this in the side here. Nice stretch. Oh. Awesome. Now we're going to get a back bend. Don't fall over backwards, please. I don't want that on my conscience. Everyone just reach back slightly. Get a nice back bend. See how low you can go. Doing the limbo. Awesome. Now we're going to stretch back to the opposite side. Slide one hand down the leg, reach over the head. You should feel that stretch in those lats, obliques. Awesome. Back to the front. Now come up to the side. Now lean back. Now drop to the side. You can see what we're doing here. Getting a full body rotation all the way around. Loosen up that back. Loosen up those hips. Nice and slow. And stop. Fantastic. Maybe an impression like that. All right. So now we got the low back loosened up. Now we're going to work on 2 quads. So what I want you guys to do, we're going to get kind of a lunge stretched. So from here, down on one knee, put the opposite foot in front, step forward a little bit, and lean those hips forward. You feel this in the back leg here. Working the hips, tuck out the top of the quad. And switch. Drive those hips forward. Nice deep stretch. Fantastic. We're going to drop into a butterfly stretch. Now you're going to sit on your butt. You put both feet together, get those knees as close to the floor as you guys can. Try to pull your feet nice and tight. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're out here, no big deal. Just get those knees as low as you can. The better you get at this stretch, I start to pull my feet in. Press those knees to the floor. You should feel this in the hips. This is a great stretch. One of the best stretches for martial arts. Stretches a little bit of everything. All right, fantastic. Let's put the right leg out in front. Keep that leg nice and straight. Try not to bend that knee. Just kind of walk your hands out as far as they go. If this is it, that's fantastic. If you can get to the ankle, awesome. If you can get over the top of the foot, fantastic. Just go as far as you can. And switch. All right, fantastic. Now we're gonna work on those hips, guys. We're gonna start off with what I call a frog stretch. I'm gonna put my hands on the floor. I'm gonna take my knees, I'm gonna spread my knees apart, kind of like I'm doing a split. I'm keeping my feet nice and close together. And from here, I'm just pushing my hips to the floor, keeping a nice arch. Good, once we've held that position for a few seconds, we're gonna do 5 under the fences. Here's what under the fence is. I've got my frog stretch position. I'm gonna imagine there's a fence in front of me. And guys, if this is the frog stretch that you got, that's okay, doesn't matter. I don't care about your level of flexibility right now, we will get there. But for right now, just get that frog stretch as low as you can. I'm gonna imagine there's a fence in front of me and I've dug a hole into that fence. I'm gonna go underneath that fence. I'm gonna drop my chin first, then my chest, then my hips. It's gonna look like this. I'm arching my back and driving my hips to the floor, and then I push back under the fence, sitting my butt to my heels. Let's do that 5 times together. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Fantastic. All right, next up, we're gonna get some fire hydrants. What's up, Caleb? Caleb's joining us. All right, guys, hands and knees, very similar to the frog stretch position. Every time I count, we're gonna do 5 each side. You're just gonna lift the leg up and then put it back down, just like a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. Lift that leg up as high as you can, loosen up those hips, guys. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other leg now. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. We got one more stretch, guys. We're gonna work on the middle split. Go as low as you can. Don't push it, don't tear anything. This is the warm-up. If you don't have a great middle split, don't worry about it. No problem at all. All right? But I'm gonna put my hands on the floor. I'm gonna start to walk my feet out to the side. If this is all you can get, that's no problem at all. All right? Put those hands on the floor, walk those feet out. Try to get as low as you can. We're gonna hold this for about 20 seconds.
You intimidate.
We got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. One of my assistants almost just fell into a split. That was great. Foot slipped. They went lower than they anticipated. It's hilarious. Wish you could have seen it. All right. Moving on. We got our stretching out of the way with. Now we're moving. Somebody's loving it. Now we're moving to a warm-up, guys. So body's nice and loose. Now we got to get a little bit of a sweat going. All right. We get all those muscles nice and warm. So we're gonna start off with some high knees. Follow along with me. All right. Standing up on my feet, I'm gonna hold my hands above my waist. From here, I'm just gonna march in place. 1, 2, 3. Follow along. Get those knees up nice and high above the waist. Back and forth. Here we go. 1, 2. 1, 2. Back and forth. Just walk in place, no big deal. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Fantastic. We're gonna hit butt kickers next, guys. We're just gonna do a light jog in place. We're gonna, as we jog, we're gonna bring our heels up as high as we can, try to kick ourselves in the butt. Simple as that. Start jogging. Get those heels up as high as you can. We'll do this for about 20 seconds. 10 seconds left. And relax. Fantastic. If at any point you start to get out of breath, take a big deep breath in through the nose and then release that breath through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. As we breathe, we don't really want to breathe with our chest. I say this a lot. We want to breathe with our belly. You watch babies breathe, their belly moves, not their chest. All right? As adults, we learn to tighten up our stomach because we don't want to look big and fat. So we breathe with our chest and we're trying to keep everything else tight. Don't do that. Relax that stomach. Nobody cares. Breathe. Nice, big, deep belly breath in through the nose. Feel that belly fill up. Out through the mouth. And the air pushes out through the stomach. All right. Moving on. We have got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 more exercises before we move on to our technique. We're going to get a pretty good sweat going now, guys. All right. For the first couple of exercises, we're going to do them for 30 seconds. All right, so I'm going to set my timer. 30 seconds of work. Then we're going to get 30 seconds of rest. We're going to start off with jumping jacks. Nothing too crazy. 30 seconds of jumping jacks. No big deal, right? All right, here we go, guys. Follow along with me. I like to count my jumping jacks out. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Ooh, almost got to 30. 30 seconds of rest now. And then we're moving on to our squats. When you guys are doing squats, a couple of things. Make sure my knees don't buckle in. Make sure we have proper knee drive. If your knees go in as you're doing the squat, like this, you are not activating your glutes, and we want to activate every muscle possible. So let's hit 30 seconds of squats, guys. Down and up. Follow me. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and relax. Awesome. Now we're moving on to push-ups, guys. When you do push-ups, make sure your hands are under your shoulders. A lot of people, when they first start doing push-ups, their hands are way out here because you're getting tired. Try to keep those hands underneath your shoulders. You can do them from your knees too. I am perfectly fine with that. If you do them from your knees, don't be a table. Not here. Arch that back, drop, and push up. 30 seconds of push-ups. Here we go. Follow along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Awesome. Now, next up, the final of our warm-ups. We're gonna do this one for 1 minute. I want you guys, if you have one, and if you have the room, grab a jump rope. If you don't have a jump rope, and you don't have the room, don't worry about it. We're gonna use our imaginations. All right? You're gonna pretend that you're holding onto a jump rope, and you're gonna start to jump rope. Even when practicing, even when I'm just imagining, I'm gonna practice good technique. When I jump rope, my arms aren't moving like crazy. My elbows stay here at my sides. It's small movement. I don't want my arms doing full rotations. None of that, all right? I'm gonna do them with you with an actual jump rope. If you're using an imaginary jump rope, no big deal, all right? Here we go. Grab your real or imaginary jump rope. And here we go. Going in 3, going in 2, going in 1. Nice, easy pace. Don't push it. Nothing crazy. See how I don't have this big motion with my arms? Elbows stay tight to my sides. My wrists actually do the majority of the work here. Stay light On the balls of your feet. Don't stomp. Jog in place as you go. Time. Fantastic. All right. Take a big deep breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Get some water if you need it. I know I do. Yeah, turn it down just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. All right. Once we are done getting our water, we're moving on to our drilling. So, we're going to start working on some of the techniques we talked about last week. We're going to start working on our head movement, not spend too much time on it, and then we're going to move into our first 6 basic strikes. Then we're going to go back to our kicks, which is what we were talking about on Tuesday. We're going to add some more kicks to our arsenal. I'll also be adding some kicking and just striking instructional videos onto our Facebook page as well. If there's a specific kick you struggle with, I'll be doing instructional videos for every kick. All right. So if there's one that you want to see first, hit me up. Comment which kick would you like to see first. I already know Robert wants to see the Anthony Pettis Showtime kick. I will make you a personal video, a breakdown of Pettis' kick, how to throw it, all that fun stuff. But in the meantime, we're starting off with some of our head movement, guys. Head movement's super important in a fight. If you don't want to have scars all over your face like I do, you gotta move your head, okay? So let's work on moving that head. There are 4 basic pieces to the head movement puzzle. The first is our slips. We talked about this, and if you haven't seen this, we're gonna go over a really quick review. If you want to see it in more detail, watch, I believe it was last Thursday's video. I don't remember, I lose track of time. But we're gonna start off with slips. Slips are when a straight punch is coming towards your face, and we need to get off line. What I mean by that is if a punch is drawing a line from my opponent to my nose, I need to get my head off of that line. Right now, you can kind of see the clock up behind my head. If I pivot, you can see the clock. When I reset to center, you can't see it anymore. I gotta get off of the line of that clock, of the punch, whatever. All right, slips, I don't lean, I twist. All right, I'll show you the upper body movement and then I'll show you the footwork. For the upper body, I'm here in my stance. I'm making a X, like I'm pulling a seatbelt from my shoulder to my hip. My hands are up. My stance is on a 45-degree angle. I'm not square. I'm a big target from square. 45. 1 foot in front, 1 foot behind you. Hands are up. Shoulders and hips, 45-degree angle. If I slip to my left, I pivot and I bring my shoulder over my front knee. Pivot. Pivot. Now notice how my hands stay up. Pivot. If I'm going to slip to my right, I bring my left shoulder over my right knee. Pivot. So if I slip both directions, it looks like this. Slip, slip. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Those are our slips. Pivot. I'll show you the footwork. Pivot, 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 pivot. My hips turn. I'm on the balls of my feet. Next is our pull. A pull is when a punch comes at me and I just pull back. Notice when I pull back, my chin tucks. My chin doesn't go up. If your chin goes up, you get knocked out. Plain and simple. Tuck your chin. Okay, take my word for it. Tuck your chin, all right? When I pull, if I'm facing this direction, a punch is coming at my face, and I pull out of the way, I try not to let my head get out past my feet. That's bad. None of this. It's not the Matrix. Boom. Here. Tuck that chin. and then I can usually follow that up. Let's say somebody jabs at my face, I can pull the jab. So the jab is coming towards my face, I pull, and I can follow their reach chamber back in with the 2. It's called a pull cross counter, or a pull counter 2. All right, that's our pull, just pulling back. Next up is our duck. In my stance, there's a hook or a straight punch being thrown. Boom. I just do a squat. I level change, bend my knees, level change. Really simple, keep good posture, keep your eyes on your opponent. Last is our trunk rotation, or our rolls. This is the one where we're making a U shape with my body. Imagine, you see boxers do this a lot where they'll have like string. It'll be kind of running across the room, and they'll be underneath that string, it'll be on one of their shoulder, and they'll duck under, and then duck under, making that U shape with their body. This happens when somebody throws a hook, any kind of hooking punch. If I'm here and there's a hook being thrown, I go under the hook, and now on the opposite side of it, so I can frame on their shoulder and counter, and ideally knock them out. Slips, pulls, ducks, and trunk rotations, or as we're gonna call them, rolls. All right? So here we go, guys. We're gonna do 10 slips. Get in your stance. Every time I count, I want you to go slip, slip. Ready? 1, slip, slip. 2, slip, slip. 3, slip, slip. 4, slip, slip. 5, slip, slip. 6, slip, slip. 7, slip, slip. 8, slip, slip. 9, slip, slip. And 10. All right, next up, pulls. I want you to imagine somebody's throwing a punch at your face and you're pulling back, keeping that chin tucked down nice and low. All right, here we go. Get in that stance. I'll face this direction so you can see the pull. Hands are up. Ready, and 1, pull. 2, pull. 3, pull. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Fantastic. All right, so we finished our pulls. Let's talk about our duck, right? Duck is just a straight drop. It's a level change. For any of you that have wrestled, just level change, bending my knees. I'm in my stance. Here, boom. All right, can you get a nice little wet leg workout here? I'm gonna call 10 times. Follow me, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Fantastic. Last but not least, we have our trunk rotations or our rolls, making that U shape with our body. Same as the slips. I want you to do 2 each time I call out 1. It'll look like this. When I say 1, we're gonna roll and then roll back. Notice I'm not bending over at the waist, looking at the floor, waiting for a knee to come hit me right in the chops. I'm keeping good posture. I'm keeping my eyes on my target, whether he be real or imaginary. Eyes always up. I can hinge, that's okay, but I need to have a strong back and look up, all right? Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Fantastic. I'm gonna give you guys a few seconds break. Got a good leg workout there. Shake everything out for me. Don't let that lactic acid build up too much. Shake those legs out. Shake those arms out. Get some water. So, that's our head movement. if you guys want to shadow box at home, or even if you got a bag and you want to work on the bag, don't just throw punches, move that head. What you practice is what you will execute. If you practice on good, effective head movement, you're going to move your head in a real situation. If you always practice that you're never moving your head, you're not going to move your head. In my personal opinion, there are 3 different types of head movement. I was actually just talking with one of my fighters about this today. There's head movement on the outside. So if I'm fighting somebody and neither of us are engaging, I'm still moving my head a little bit. Feints, level changes, just being a moving target. It's harder to hit me if my head is constantly moving. I'm not going spastic with it, but I'm making my head hard to hit. And I incorporate that with good footwork. That's the first part of head movement, is when you're on the outside. What I call like preemptive head movement. The second is reactive head movement. When my opponent throws the punch at me, I'm gonna have to move out of the way. So I'm on the outside and I've got my preemptive head movement going on, then he throws a punch and I have to actually slip or dodge that punch. If I have really good preemptive head movement, it can make my reactive head movement a lot better. Then your final piece of the head movement puzzle is attacking head movement. If I am throwing a punch or a kick, I want to make sure that there's some movement there. A lot of guys get caught watching their work. I've done it. They'll throw a kick, but their head will stay in the same place. Or they'll throw a punch, but their head doesn't move. Versus throwing the punch and getting my head offline. And also, always having an escape plan after I've thrown my combination. I don't just sit there and watch it. I throw my combo, and I get out. So, we move our head all the time in all 3 of those scenarios, okay? Moving on, guys, we're gonna work on our basically 6 beginner punches. For those of you that have already watched our videos, we have 6 basic punches. My 1 is my jab. My 2 is my cross. My 3 is my lead hook. My 4 is my rear hook. My 5 is my lead uppercut. And my 6 is my rear uppercut. All right, we have our first 6 basic punches. Whatever leg is in front, that is your lead side. So if my left leg is in front, my left is my lead. Your jab always comes off of your lead, okay? Jab never comes off of the reverse side, that's a cross. What's up, Will? So, if you watch these numbers, all of my odd numbers are my lead side. All of my even numbers are my reverse side. All right, we're gonna go through these real quick. This is not the focus today, this is just a little drill. If you haven't or don't know these punches, just do some semblance of what we're doing. We're working on kicks today. If you wanna learn the punches, go back and watch some of our previous videos, or follow the Combat Performance page or subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll actually have a bunch of demos coming very soon. All right. I'm in my stance right now. I'm in an orthodox stance, which means my left foot is in front, my right foot is behind me. My left hand is my lead hand. When I call 1, boom, I want you to throw a jab. Make it nice and straight, boom. Straight line through my shoulders. None of this. Don't just punch with your arm. Your arm's not strong enough. Punch with your whole body, okay? Twist, pivot, turn those hips into your strikes. Like Shakira says, the hips don't lie. It's the same thing when it comes to martial arts. Hips are everything. All right, channel your inner Shakira. Here we go. 1 is my jab. Ready? 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. If you want to use your other hand, switch sides. 1. 1. 1. 1. Fantastic. We pumped out a couple of jabs. Now we're going to throw the cross. It's basically the same punch, but with the reverse side. Now notice, my hips are on this 45-degree angle. My hips are already turned this way, so when I jab, there's a little twist. Boom. But there's not a lot of power here. But when I throw my cross, there's a lot of twist. I can generate a lot of power. I'm pivoting on the balls of my feet. Jab, cross. Jab, cross. Boom, pivot. Pivot on the ball of your foot. Twist them hips. All right, nice straight line still. Let's throw a couple of crosses, guys. Hands up. Ready? That's our 2. When I yell 2, I want to see a cross. When I say 1, I want to see a jab. Ready? 2. Boom. 2. 2. 1. Ah, got you there. Make sure you're listening. 1. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1. 1. 1, 2. All right, I think you guys got it. Now we're going to talk about our 3 and our 4. My 3 is my lead hook. My 4 is my rear hook. If I call 3, I'm going to throw a hook with my front hand, with my lead hand. Now, my hips are already on this 45-degree angle. If I throw the 3 by itself, there's not a lot of power. So I slip and then turn and throw my 3. I create a nice little load, all right? A lot of times I'll counter if somebody's throwing a punch at me. I'll slip the punch, boom, and I'll throw my 3. Don't pull your arm way back. If I pull my arm way back to throw it, look at my whole pretty face is wide open. Don't do that. All right, keep your hand up. Rotate, throw. It's all about the hips. I generate my power from the twist. I could just hold my arm right here and twist. Has nothing to do with arm strength, guys. Arm strength can help a little bit, but it doesn't matter. You want to make sure you have proper body mechanics if you want to have a good punch. So, our 3 is our lead hook. Our 4 is our reverse hook. Let's throw a couple of those. Ready? 3. Same thing, first 2 knuckles, just like a jab or a cross. 3. 3. Now when I throw my 4, my hips are already loaded. So I don't have to preload the 4, I just throw it. Ready? 4. 4. 4. 3. 4. 3. 4. Fantastic. Last 2 punches, guys, 5 and 6. Lead uppercut and rear uppercut. All right? When I throw the uppercuts, they're coming on an upward angle. I'm going to load properly for those. Where are the punches going? They're going in an upward angle. So I'm going to lower my body just a little bit, change my level. I'm not going to stand super tall and try to throw it with just my arm. I'm going to bend my knees. I'm going to slip for my lead, same way I would for a hook. Slip and load, bend your knees, and then lift into that punch. For my 6, my rear uppercut, I just basically do a little duck and then explode, lifting those hips, popping those hips into that upward strike. Let's hit a couple of 5 and 6s. Once again, don't worry if these don't look great right now. No problems. I don't care. It's okay. You're not going to be perfect day 1. All right? For those of you that are new to this, you're not going to be perfect day 1. For those of you that are my students and you've been doing this for a while, you guys still have a lot to learn. It took me a long time to master these techniques, okay? And it's going to take you a while too. So chill, relax, give yourself a little bit of slack, all right? All right, let's go. 5, lead uppercut. Boom. 5, push. 5, push. 5, push. Now 6, push. 6, push. 6, push. 6, push. Fantastic. Again, not spending too much time on that. Today, we talking about kicks. All right, moving on. If you need some water, get it. Shake those arms out, shake those legs out. We're talking about the round and the roundhouse today. These are very common kicks. I say it like a question because I meet a lot of people who will use the term roundhouse, but they use that for a wide variety of different techniques. I've seen like spin hook kicks and somebody goes, oh, that was a nice roundhouse kick. Roundhouse is just that term that everyone knows. They know it's a thing, but a lot of people don't know what it means. We're going to talk about what it means. Now, if you go to different karate schools or taekwondo schools, everyone's got a different, there's the round and the roundhouse. At a lot of schools, those are the same thing. I started in karate, and at my karate school, if you threw the kick with your front leg, it was a roundhouse. Boom. If you threw it with your back leg, it was a power roundhouse. But either way, they were both roundhouse kicks. At my Taekwondo school, they were both just called round kicks. All right? Now, I find that can be confusing for some people, so what we do at my gym is we separate those two into two different kicks, just like a jab versus a cross. Pretty much the same punch, but one of them is being thrown off the back leg, which generates a lot more power. The other is being thrown off the lead leg, so there's more snap and speed. If I throw with my lead, my front leg, we call it a round kick. If I throw it with my reverse leg, my power leg, we call it a roundhouse. So round is lead, roundhouse is reverse. I'm going to show the round first, guys. So, lead leg. I'm here in my stance. I'm picking my knee up to chamber. I want to make sure that my heel stays nice and close to my butt. If your heel comes off of your butt, you're not going to have a lot of power. If my heel is already out here, I mean, look, I have more distance to travel and more snap that I can generate when it's tight, versus out here, there's nothing. Okay? If I'm throwing it with my lead leg, there's not a ton of pivot, there's not a ton of momentum behind the kick. It's all about snap, right? I need to snap into my target as fast as possible. When you're throwing a lead anything technique, whether it be a jab, anything with your front side, notice, even with the jab, very little twist with my hips versus my cross, which has a lot of twist. If I want to generate power with something off of my lead side, I have to generate a tremendous amount of speed because speed equals power. I want it to have snap and pop, all right? That's what's gonna break bones. That's what's gonna knock somebody out. So when I'm throwing a lead kick, I need the chamber to be tight. I need the speed to be fast, all right? For right now, start slow so you understand the technique and then you'll build speed over time, all right? So, chamber. My body is vertical. My shoulders are not leaning back. If you lack flexibility, that's okay. Don't throw a high kick if you lack flexibility. If you lack flexibility, every time you lift your leg up, your shoulders want to lean backwards, just don't do it. Chamber and kick low until you get good. Work on your flexibility, and then the better your flexibility gets, the higher you can kick. But when I pick my leg up for my chamber, my shoulders and my upper body, my torso, stays upright. I don't lean because I don't want to telegraph. Chamber, okay? As I chamber, I want to make sure my hips are open. What I mean by that is I don't want to bind my hips up because if I throw this kick with a lot of power, I will tear everything in my supporting leg. This is a crucial part to a high level kick, guys. Watch my supporting foot. Do not watch the kicking foot. If I was going to kick you guys right now, if I look at my toes, my feet are on a 45-degree angle, this way. If I chamber and I keep my feet or my toes point on this 45-degree angle, it's going to bind this knee up when I kick, and it just looks awkward. When I chamber, my heel turns towards my target. That opens my hips up, allows for a lot more range of motion, a lot more power, a lot more speed. It's just a better angle. Okay, and it's not going to put nearly as much pressure on my knee. If any of you have watched MMA and you watched John Jones versus, I believe it was Thiago Alves. Was it Thiago Alves versus Jones? No, Thiago Santos. Yeah, ripped his knee up. Santos. John Jones versus Santos. Santos threw a kick, a really hard kick, but he didn't pivot. And he tore, like, I think it was like everything. It was his ACL, his MCL, his LCL, his meniscus. He couldn't leave the country. They had to take him into emergency surgery after the fight was over. So pivot, okay? Because even the best, one of the best UFC fighters out there in the division, just did something stupid and tore everything in his knee. And then he had to fight for 5 rounds with a bad knee. Still almost beat him though. So pivot. Yeah, Seth, yes he did. It was bad. It was nasty. He threw so much torque into that kick, but there was no pivot at all. All right. So as I chamber, I pivot in the ball of my foot, my heel starts to turn towards my target. Boom. Then my kick travels towards the target. Now as your kick travels towards the target, that's when I can lean back. So it's chamber, body stays up. As the kick travels, boom, that's when I can lean back. I will make a very detailed video of this using all kinds of fancy lines and angles and stuff. And I will show you exactly how everything needs to be. But this is a round kick. Chamber, snap. Needs to be fast, guys. Chamber, snap. Okay? Chamber, snap. I'm hitting with the instep. I'm the only one who thinks that it could be if he was healthy. Yeah, I think that if Santos hadn't torn that knee, he may have had a better shot at winning that fight. As it was freaking close. Okay, so that's our round kick, and now I want to talk about the roundhouse. So round is with our lead leg. So if my right leg is in front, boom, that's my round. If I put my right leg behind me, and now I have to turn into it, that's my roundhouse. That's the way that we differentiate those two kicks here at Combat Performance. It's pretty much the same kick, but there's a lot more torque behind it. Let's talk about what's happening. All right, I'm still pivoting. Watch my supporting foot. As I bring my back knee to start to throw my kick, this is what Santos did. He threw a really hard kick, so there's a lot of momentum going this way, but his foot stayed planted. It put a tremendous amount of pressure on his knee. I want to let that knee turn. That way I don't tear anything. Okay? I have to pivot on the ball of my foot. There's a lot of momentum coming through. When I throw a roundhouse kick, guys, there's a certain order in which I like to twist. I'm here in my stance, my hips and my shoulders on a 45-degree angle. As I chamber, my hips are starting to open up. In order for my hips to open up, I have to pivot. We've already established that. So hips are kind of the first thing to open for me, right? After the hips, then my knee starts to come through. After my knee, then my foot follows. So it's kind of a 1, 2, 3. I want to create a whip with my body, right? And a whip is not a stick. It's not the whole thing coming at the target at one time. A whip is a whipping motion that you'll flick the handle, and then everything else will travel behind it until the tail end of it hits you, and it hits with a tremendous amount of force, torque, velocity, all that fun stuff. So I want to make a whip with my body. I'm not trying to throw my legs and my hips and everything at the same time, because it's just pointless. I want the hips to turn first, then the knee, then the foot. And I can generate a tremendous amount of torque and power into that kick. And what some styles do differently, I've taken a lot. I've taken Muay Thai, karate, taekwondo, all that fun stuff. And I've kind of taken what works and kind of combined it all together. A lot of people will sling their kick. And they'll neglect the snap. If you look at fighters like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, he'll knock you out with his lead leg because that pop that he generates is so powerful. He generates so much snap at the end of that whip. Where you got other fighters like Jose Aldo or Edson Barbosa that have a tremendous amount of rotation and sling, but they don't generate nearly as much snap at the end of their kick. If you can combine the momentum and the snap, you've covered all your bases at that point. So that's what we try to do here. All right? So, guys, we're pivoting into that kick. Some people like to step as they throw it. I'm okay with that. Just be careful. I don't want to telegraph. If I start to step and turn too early, somebody's going to catch the inside of my leg. All right? So, no matter what, the hips have to start to twist first. Whether you step to open up those hips or you just start to turn the hips and pivot on the ball of the foot, doesn't matter. But the hips, I've got to turn first. Boom. And hips and shoulders, just FYI, are they're in the same range. They pretty much work together in unison, all right? If the shoulders are turning, the hips are most likely turning with them. So from here, I'm starting to twist and pivot on the ball of my supporting foot. My hips turn, my knee comes up, it's starting to point towards my target. Now from here, if I want to kick, let's say Bob. We're gonna use Mr. Bob over here as our example. If I want to kick Bob, I don't aim my knee at Bob and then kick, because my kick actually, the full power of my kick is over here. I want to aim my knee past Bob so that when my foot makes contact, it pulls through. All right, don't aim your knee at your opponent. I threw that kick as hard as I could. I'll do it again, ready? But it all stops right there. If I aim my knee past my opponent, I can pull it through. So hips twist first. Then the knee follows the hips, and the knee has to aim past your target slightly. Then the foot is the end of the whip. That's what snaps into the target. And if you throw this with enough torque and you're twisting, it'll pull all the way through. If you watch Taekwondo fighters versus Muay Thai fighters, here's the difference. Taekwondo and karate guys will re-chamber, which I'm fine with. No problem with that. They'll throw that full big power kick, boom, they'll twist, they'll stop, and then they'll re-chamber and put it back down behind them. Boom, back down. That's easier said than done in the air. A lot of times if I hit a target, I can send my foot back to where my foot came from. Now, Muay Thai, they ain't trying to stop it and re-chamber. They're going through. So if you watch a Thai fighter, here, turn, through, and they go all the way through. Both work. That's really a preference thing. People will tell you, that, oh, one's better than the other. No, it's fine. Honestly, just straight up. If you're proficient, and it's guys like Stephen Thompson, who's a karate guy, Anthony Pettis, who is a Taekwondo guy, and Edson Barbosa, who's a Muay Thai guy, all of them have kick knockouts. So who cares? They're all proficient at what they do. So who cares which technique you use? I kind of blend them together. Sometimes I throw everything into it. Sometimes I will hit the side of my opponent's head and I'll bring it back and I'll hit my re-chamber. It doesn't matter, okay? It's preference. So that argument versus Thai, is Thai better than karate versus this? It's nothing to do with the style, has everything to do, it's nothing to do with the style of martial arts, it's everything to do with the practitioner. I've met amazing karate practitioners and amazing Muay Thai fighters. I've met absolutely garbage karate practitioners and absolutely garbage Thai fighters. It has nothing to do with the style, it has everything to do with the practitioner, and usually who they're trained under. So keep that in mind if you are ever searching for a martial arts school of your own. Don't worry about the style, worry about the practitioner. All right, so that's our roundhouse kick. And I know that's complicated, but for guys like Robert who want to learn that Showtime kick, that's the kick, right? So it's a roundhouse kick. He's using his back leg as he jumps off the cage. So the first part, we have to learn the roundhouse before we can move on to the Showtime kick, okay? If you can master the roundhouse, which again, it's hard doing these on the lives, but I'll make a detailed YouTube video on the roundhouse itself. And if you can learn that, then we just have to learn the athleticism of jumping off the wall, which actually isn't as hard as it sounds, particularly if it's a cage, because there's a little bit of spring to it. So, all right, so we've got our, we worked on our front kick last week. Now we've worked on our round kick, which is our lead leg, and then our roundhouse, which is our reverse leg. Next up, we're gonna work on something fun. I like this kick. There's a lot of people that don't, and that's okay. I've seen it's not commonly used in combat sports. I've seen it used more often in Muay Thai or American kickboxing than in MMA, but it has been used in MMA before, and that is an axe kick. This is one of those kicks that I like it. It's just fun. If you're gonna use it in an actual altercation, you gotta be good at it, because if you're not good at it, you're gonna get screwed over. This is a kick where I'm chambering, bringing the leg straight up above my head, and then chopping down using my heel. It's fancy. Looks really good going through boards, but as they say, boards don't punch back. So, I'm in my stance. I like to use my back leg. You can bring the leg to the outside and then down, or the inside of your body and down. I prefer the inside. I'm chambering my knee, almost like a front kick, but to the inside. So instead of coming straight up and kicking out, I come to the inside, almost like we're doing some sort of like Broadway kick line. That's kind of what we're doing here. And I'm bringing it up, around, and straight down, hitting with the heel. So after I come up, I start to extend my leg, and I try to lift that up high because I need to get it up high so I can chop it straight down. Guys, don't do this like super high the first time. You will wreck your hamstring. Start off low, okay? Hamstring flexibility is really a key to this kick. All right, but it's a fun kick. And if you do it correctly, and if you're really good at it, guys that I can think off the top of my head that were good at this kick, Kung Lee, who fought in K1 kickboxing, went on to fight for both Strikeforce and the UFC, was really good at this kick. I believe I've seen Israel Adesanya use this a few times. I've never seen Wonder Boy do it, but there are a few more that I've seen throw this kick. I remember Miguel Torres used to throw this kick quite a lot back in the WEC days. It can be an effective kick if you're fairly decent at it. So again, I like to chamber to the inside, leg comes up, and then I chop straight down. Chamber up, straight down. I'll try to go a little slower. It's hard because you gotta have momentum to get that height. Up and straight down. I want to try to bring that kick straight down on top of my opponent. A lot of times if my opponent pulls, I can bring my heel right down onto the bridge of their nose and kind of drag it down onto their chest, which is really fun to do. So I like hurting people sometimes. But yeah, so that is our axe kick. Practice with your, make sure you work on a lot of hamstring flexibility. Make sure those hamstrings are nice and loose if you're gonna throw that kick. Once again, guys, all the kicks can be a little bit more difficult to teach in our lives versus like our head movement and our boxing drills. Mainly because I don't have fancy camera angles, it's all right here. But I'll be making some very detailed videos on all of the kicks in our system. We'll be talking stances, punches, everything. I've been wanting to get our social media, our YouTube, and stuff going for a little while, and this is a great opportunity for us to do it. What about, oh, the question mark kick. That confused me for a second, Seth, because you literally put question mark. So I thought, what about kick? Yeah, question mark kick. I talked about, did I talk about that in the teen class? Yeah. I talked about the teen class last week. I will make a video on the question mark kick too. That's my favorite. The question mark kick is my freaking bread and butter. I'll talk about that. I'll make a video on that kick. If you do want to kind of pre-watch something on that, go back to the last 2 teen karate classes because I talked about the art of the fake, how to fake properly, and then from there, because that's how you set up a question mark kick. I can't just throw it by itself. I have to set it up with a few front kicks. I gotta get their hands to start to drift. And then I roll it back over. Well, I'm not a teen maturity. Yeah, I know you, Seth. You got the mind of like a 16-year-old. Dude, you can't fool me. All right. That is gonna do it for today. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. We're gonna use those kicks that we've learned, our front kicks, round kicks, and roundhouse kicks in our kickboxing class next Tuesday. Remember, every Tuesday and Thursday we've got kickboxing live here on Facebook at 6:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We also have our kids karate on Mondays and Wednesdays at 4:30, and our teen karate Mondays and Wednesdays at 5:30. If you got kids that like to join in with us, so it's a crazy time right now. I want people to have some sort of a release. We try to incorporate as much as we can in these videos with exercise and technique. And again, for the technique that I really can't show in detail, I will make a lot of technique videos here in the next couple of days, and I'll be uploading them to our YouTube channel and also linking them to our Facebook page. If there's anything specific you would like to have worked on, I've got a couple people who have already requested things. And I don't care how goofy it is, send me a request. I will show you how to do Bob Sapp's, can you teach me how to break Bob Sapp's orbital bone with a head kick? Absolutely. Just about any head kick that I teach you can break Bob Sapp's orbital bone. Bob Sapp was a big boy, but man, he could gas really quick. It doesn't take much to break an orbital. I broke mine in my last fight, actually, back in September. Won the fight, but the very first punch, he only hit me with one punch, and it broke my orbital, and it sucked. I thought I was dying. I had like blood leaking out of my nose. I thought, this is it. I'm dead. But I'm alive now, so hey. Oh, Crow Cop style. Oh God, Crow Cop, amazing kicks. All right, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's class. What about Bob Saget? Man, I would love to kick Bob Saget in the face and just take that nose and just make it to mush. That's the, I like that. All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. Tune in for the next one. Follow us, like us, whatever. I don't know. This isn't YouTube, and I sound like a freaking YouTuber. Have fun, and be safe, and don't get the corona, whatever you do.